Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us today at Autodesk University, virtually, the first virtual Autodesk University. Today, Adam and I are going to give you a little overview of Advance2000, and we're going to talk about remote work using virtual desktops and virtual infrastructure. My name is Joseph Talamantes. I've been with Advance2000 about 8 years now. I used to be a client of theirs about 13 years ago. I was the CIO for a large AE firm here in Chicago, and I was one of Advance2000's first AEC firms using virtual desktops. At Advance2000 right now, I'm basically a subject matter expert for the AEC industry. I am a recovering architect. I used to be an architect many years ago. I moved into technology probably around 20 years ago. I am based in Chicago. Myself and my family live here. We work from home, or I work from home. Actually, my wife's working from home now too. But anyway, we work from home, and Advance2000 is basically a virtual company. So all of the people that are outside of the Western New York office all work virtually. So we use our own technology to work day to day. So I want to introduce Adam Glass, and he can talk a little bit about himself.
Hi, I'm Adam. I've been with Advance2000 now for about 9 years. I've been in the technology business now for about 25, I'd say, from my days with 3Com back in the .com era up till today in the cloud computing era here. I've come along, my career has kind of come along in the same evolution as Advance2000 has. So we kind of started off 30 years ago, right around the same time that I got into the business, as a company that was based out of Buffalo, New York, and was in the basement of our owner's parents' home, where they were building PCs and servers. They were going out to compete with the likes of CompUSA for the business of students. It ended up growing up to a real company from there. We had a partnership with, at one point with Steve Jobs and a company that he had called Next Computer for a little while, and that got us going. We transitioned into the normal areas that companies did: voice over IP, building large networks, data networks for governments and universities and hospitals and things like that. And then we moved into the AEC industry about 10 years ago, like JT said, and it allowed us to be able to really focus on that technology. Today, we have two of our own data centers. These data centers are, for the most part, purpose-built for this type of application that we talk about, and that is of satisfying the demands of very high-end compute services. The things that, like in the AEC industry, that we see when you're running programs from Autodesk and other things like that, the amount of graphics, the amount of computing resources that it takes is very unique to that in the cloud computing industry, and that's an area that we have decided to cater into.
Yeah.
And it's really brought us to where we are today. And like we said, we've opened up our latest data center in Amherst, New York, just outside of Buffalo. It's about a 90,000 square foot facility. And it is a full redundant, fully power redundant data center that is wholly owned by us. And then with partnerships, it extends our reach internationally to multiple data centers around the world to be able to service our customers that we have. Mm-hmm. So with that, let's talk a little bit about the solution. JT, why don't you get a little bit some of the details that how we put this together for people.
One of the things, Adam, that you mentioned before, that we started, providing virtual desktops for the AEC industry about 13 years ago. And so what happened then that caused us to do this? The firm that I was working for had 17 offices. And we needed to be able to collaborate and work together as though we were a single office. And there really was no way to do that back then. We had wide area networks between all of our offices, but we couldn't collaborate very well. A new technology it wasn't really a new technology, but a technology that was finally ready for prime time back then was Revit. It was one of the tools that had finally refined itself enough. Autodesk had purchased it a couple of years prior to that, and it was a tool that we wanted to use, but there was really no way to be able to use that between offices in an effective way. So one of the things that we did was we started using desktops and infrastructure as a service from Advance2000 to help us do that. So what does desktop and infrastructure as a service mean? Basically, it means that we're providing PCs, desktops, virtual desktops to a firm and hosting them in a data center. The same thing goes for all of the infrastructure that you use to run your company. So all the servers, the firewalls, the switching, everything else that you might have in terms of your technology. Advance2000 also provides that as a service. So what makes really Advance2000 different than some of the other providers out there that are providing virtual desktops or infrastructure as a service? The big difference, I think, was that Advance2000 designs virtual desktops for the design industry that can run Revit, that can run AutoCAD, that can run all of these graphics intense applications and really make them feel as though you're running and operating on a computer that's sitting below your desk. Advance2000 has a number of different types of virtual desktops, ranging from administrator type desktop for somebody that would be an appropriate user of Microsoft Office all day, all the way up to what I would consider like an animation modeling rendering machine. So we have all sorts of virtual desktops ranging from low to high end that we can offer a company. I would say one of the big differences in using virtual desktops as opposed to other AEC cloud solutions is that we centralize your data. So in other words, we're taking all of the data. In my case, it was data from 17 different offices, and we put it all together in one place. Then we built workstations around that data, and we allowed everyone in every office to connect to it, and we brought our people to that data in the data center. So one of the things that we like to say at Advance2000 is that we bring the people to the data, not the data to the people. In my previous way of work, what I did was I moved data from place to place to place over a wide area network. Now there's technologies out there that automate that particular task. I'm not going to mention names, but there's a lot of technology out there that will just copy data from one place to another, or they'll have a master copy in a public cloud, and they'll make local copies everywhere, but you're just really moving a lot of data around. We centralize all the data in one place, and then we bring the people and the workstations and everything to it.
And I think one of the big things that our customers tell us is that we're a great equalizer, right? We're able to offer the technology that is normally only found in large size firms with all the all the capital and all the IT departments and things like that to be able to support such stuff. But we're able to support those big guys, but we're also be able to support this medium-sized firms and the small-sized firms and give them that equal playing field so that they're able to have full security without any compromise of performance whatsoever on the device of your choosing. You're no longer defined as a company by what your information technology is able to provide, okay? It allows you to be able to focus on the business of architecture, engineering, construction, design, and what have you, versus can our technology support that type of effort?
Right. We have an R&D group, a research and development group within Advance2000. We're constantly testing new hardware, new software, new technology to provide virtual desktops. Right now, we've standardized on using NVIDIA graphics and VMware as the platform for providing virtual desktops, but we're platform agnostic. We really don't care what our clients use. What we do is we test all of these different platforms, and we're providing our clients with the best value. In other words, the most power for the least amount of money. We've used other technologies in the past, like Citrix, like remote desktop, RDS. So we've done them all. Right now, VMware, in our opinion, is the best value. It runs the best, and it is the most cost effective.
Not only do we test them, JT, but
yeah,
we also encourage our customers and to be able to do the same even before they actually do any business with us. So all of our virtual desktops are available for demo. You just contact us and we would go ahead and spin up a virtual desktop that can run any program that you want on it. You tell us what programs you want to run, and we're going to prescribe a desktop to be able to do that with. But what this allows you to do is have a full proof of concept of our solution and be able to see it really working on the device of your choosing. It allows you to be able to share it with your coworkers, to be able to have a shared file and see how that collaboration, which really is one of the biggest things that we're able to offer. One of the other great things that it does in the demo process is allows our customers to see what type of virtual desktop is going to work across our organization. As you mentioned, we have 9 different types of virtual desktops that we offer. And those range from an administrative desktop where you need very little graphics type of resources, all the way up to somebody that's going to be running rendering programs and real-time type of graphics that they need to have a very high end. And most are going to fit somewhere in between there. But the demo process allows you to be able to try those different ones out to make sure that you are putting the right type of virtual desktop into your employees' needs, knowing that it is in a cloud and you can change any part of that anytime you want, as easily as you want.
Yeah. So why should you do this? I mean, what other advantages are there to using virtual desktops? You might be wondering. Why Advance2000 to do virtual desktops? Let's spend a few minutes, Adam, talking about the different benefits of the virtual desktops and why a company might consider them. Right off the bat, the first one that comes to my mind, and the reason that we're having this discussion is remote work. So we're in a time in the world right now where when this pandemic hit, many firms were not prepared to be working from home. Our clients, Advance2000's clients, and all my clients were unaffected by this. Later on in the video, we're going to share a testimonial from one of those clients that talks about how they made the transition to work from home using the Advance2000 technology, and really how it was a completely seamless transition. You can access your technology, your virtual desktop, from anywhere, really. The only requirement is that you need to have bandwidth. And you're going to see later on what connecting to a virtual desktop looks like. The bandwidth requirements are extremely reasonable. If you could run Netflix, you can probably run a virtual desktop. So just keep that in mind when you're talking about working from home or using cable modems or other bandwidth sources that might not be the best.
Long before the pandemic came along and long after the pandemic is going to be gone, the need to be able to remote work is only growing. COVID kind of kicked that into overdrive and forced people to be able to do it. But this is something that is in demand now. Employees want it. Employees need it. They want to be able to have that
quality of life,
that kind of mobility, right? They want to be able to, if they want to work at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can. If they want to work at, whenever they want to and have access to all the same information that they, from wherever they want to be able to, that is just a fact of business today.
Yeah.
As you can see, I've got my cloud space backdrop up here, and that's what it's all about, the Advance2000 Cloud Space. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're working on, you will have the ability to have all the resources, all the data that you would normally have anywhere at any time.
Yeah, yeah. One of the other things that really a lot of my clients take advantage of is scalability. And when we're talking about scalability, we're not only talking about scalability up, but also keep in mind scalability down. So as the pandemic hit, a lot of companies that I was working with, well, no, now there was a couple of companies that I was working with that actually needed more virtual desktops to be able to support work at home for their staff. And I got a call one day from a client that wanted 500 more virtual desktops. We were able to get those up and running within a week, within 5
The other
days.
thing is on the other side of the coin, and why we're also having this conversation, we had some customers, JT, let's say in the hospitality industry, and they had to downsize very quickly.
Right,
If you're working with a premise-based technology, you've bought those servers, you've bought those licenses, you've bought all that hardware,
right,
and that's it. It's yours, whether it's sitting idle or you're using it. The nice thing with this solution is it gives you that scalability. As much as we don't like to get those phone calls, we're
right.
able to do that. And for that particular customer, we're able to drastically downsize their virtual footprint, make it so that it was able to fit into their new budget based on what was going on in the world. But now we're seeing that same customer and other ones like them building back up again as things start to recover. If things were to reverse, they're going to be able to do that as well. And this
Scale back up.
that
Yeah,
that ability to be able to do that.
yeah. That's a good point, Adam. Let's talk about collaboration for a minute. So as I stated before, we had 17 offices. Now you don't need 17 offices to be able to benefit from the collaboration of the cloud, but in my case, it was pretty extreme. I needed to be able to work between my offices. Um, but you can work from anywhere really with any other firm. So you can invite other firms to work within your private cloud, share documents, share drawings, share models. You can control their access. So they only see what you want them to see. You don't have to worry about them getting into your environment, seeing, all of your proprietary intellectual property. You can even provide them virtual desktops in our environment, and we can give them access so that you can all work together like you're sitting in a room together, a virtual co-location space where say 5 or 6 firms can all work together and share models, information, data, documents in real time. One single copy living in a data center, protected, backed up, and secured.
Yeah, that's something that's huge with customers, even more so today. The ability to be able to back this up from anywhere, anytime, no matter how big it happens to be, that's very huge, because that's a very, very expensive thing to be able to do for most people,
Yeah,
especially premise-based, right? If you're trying to provide all that level of backup that we're giving our customers with like 30-day snapshots back and being able to fully restore your all your data systems. That's not something that's easily done.
right.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. One of the things that we do is we offer our clients a turnkey solution. So it really does include all the pieces and parts needed to get you working in the cloud. It includes the servers, the desktops, the networks, backup, like Adam just mentioned. It includes the bandwidth, and it includes 24/7, 365 support by Advance2000 engineers. We understand that the AEC industry doesn't keep normal hours, and you guys have a deadline, you're working on something, it may be 3 in the morning, and if your virtual desktop locks up on you or you somehow becomes inaccessible, you need to be able to have support, someone that can get you back up and running and make you productive again at 3 a.m. And so
And I think it's important to mention that again, our help desk are Advanced 2000 employees in our network operations centers. And in many cases, they're in the data center with that virtual infrastructure themselves. So we don't outsource that. We keep that all here. So you're dealing with people that not only very, very well understand the ability to be able to get into your infrastructure very quickly, but also they understand the industry. Okay. JT mentioned himself, he's a recovering architect. We've got a lot of other people that come from that industry. So we're not only able to support just the basic infrastructure, we can support the desktop, and we can even support your applications if you want us to. We have
yeah,
those types of service plans where we go all the way up to that level where we've actually got BIM managers. We call them BIM managers in the cloud that are actually working people that do those types of specialties, and we can offer that.
yeah, good point, Adam. Finally, we take you through the entire process. You know, Advance2000 is there to design the system, to implement the system or build it, I'd say, then to migrate all of your users over, train them, get them all up and running, go live with you, and then we're there with that support team that Adam spoke about to make sure that everything, your entire process from beginning to end is seamless and painless.
I think one of the things we're most excited about is something that we've recently released here at Advance2000, which is our customer portal. So this allows every single one of our customers to be able to go right through a dedicated secure portal and be able to see whether it be individually, what each user has on their virtual desktop, from CPU utilization to the tickets that they've opened in the past and current, to a full administrator view where it shows the statistics on absolutely every single part of that virtual infrastructure. You can see invoices, you can open up trouble tickets, you can give us feedback, you can arrange to pay your bill, you can even also, we're going to be introducing very soon where you're going to be able to actually provision your own virtual desktops and other aspects of your virtual infrastructure right through the portal. So we're automating as much of this as possible. So this is something that we're very excited about that we've just released.
Yep, that's true. There are a lot of other benefits to using cloud infrastructure. I mean, no more backups, no more having to refresh hardware, buy new hardware all of the time. Collaborating, you know, within your firm or with other firms outside. Also, you know, basically the whole idea that you know, you get out of the technology business and you can focus on doing architecture, doing engineering, doing construction. You know, so we basically make all of that and take all of that and allow you to do a better job for your clients.
Why don't we show them, JT? I think we've got a demo here, and
Yep.
we can actually.
Yeah, we want to share a demo with you, just really to show you how easy it is to use a desktop, cloud desktop. And so I'm going to jump into that in a second. We'll give you a little demo of how Revit operates on a virtual desktop. All right, let's get started with a demo of the virtual desktop. The first thing you're going to notice is I'm on my local computer here. It is a Windows 10 PC. It could be any kind of device really to connect to the virtual desktop. There's support for iPads, tablets, Android devices, iPhones. You can connect using a Macintosh. There's a client for practically any type of operating system out there, even Linux. Once I install that client, you'll see that I have an icon here in the center of my screen called the VMware Horizon client. I'm going to go ahead and launch that. The next thing you'll see here is a list of servers I have access to for the demo. I'm going to be accessing the Advance2000 demo environment. I'm going to go ahead and connect to that. You can also automatically connect to the same server every day, so you don't have to do that. Next, you have to log in here. Now, if you had single sign-on set up, your local Windows credentials would be passed through here on, and you wouldn't see this login because I'm in the demo environment. That's not the way I'm set up. So I have to put in my credentials. Once I do that, I log in. It shows me my virtual desktop. This is a professional advanced virtual desktop. I have a number of different options here. If I right click on that icon, I can restart it, reset it remotely. I can actually launch it. There are a number of different protocols to be able to connect to it. I can also set the display. So right now I'm going to set the display to Windows Large. So this will open up this virtual desktop in a window on my desktop so that you can see that I am on a computer running on another computer. or you'll see the difference between my local computer and my virtual desktop. So right click, I launch, and you'll see that the virtual desktop opens up. It has a blue background. Mine had a black background. It also, you'll see this large bar menu at the top. That will go away in a second. You'll notice that my taskbar is along the left side. The taskbar for the virtual desktop is along the bottom. So that's also another difference, so you can tell the difference between the two. If I actually pull this down, you'll see that my virtual computer, my local computer, is right behind it. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to full screen mode. So I do that by maximizing the window. When you connect to your virtual desktop, you can also have it use all of your available monitors, and it will connect across all of the available monitors in your system. One of the things to remember is if you're using 4K monitors, it is supported and you can use it. The thing that you have to be aware of is that it uses much more bandwidth than regular HD or QHD. So keep that in mind, but there is full support for 4K as well. So you notice that when I went into full screen, that all of a sudden that big banner menu at the top changed to a thin little bar. You can pin this bar down so that it will always remind you that the computer with the bar at the top is my virtual desktop, and the other one is my local computer, in case you get confused, and I have gotten confused. Sometimes people will put a message on the background of their computer and they'll say virtual desktop, just to remind themselves that they're really in a virtual desktop. For me, it wouldn't be that hard because I have my taskbar on the side and this one's on the bottom. So I'm going to unpin that. You'll notice that I have a number of options, programs, applications loaded here. This is basically just a Windows operating system, just the same as my local computer. Really no different. I'm going to go ahead and launch browser for a second. Now this browser is connected to the Advance2000 internet connection. So for instance, if I shot over to YouTube, you can see that there's a nice Biden-Harris ad that's running here, and you'll see that animation and everything else looks perfectly good. And if I turn the sound on, you would see that and hear that as well. So everything acts and functions just like a normal local computer. I'm going to go ahead and launch Revit for you. This VDI doesn't require a lot of bandwidth. Typically, we tell people between 2 and 5 megabits of bandwidth is required to run and operate the virtual desktop. Now, if you are using 4K monitors, obviously, then you're going to have a higher bandwidth requirement, but 2 to 4 megabits is fine. 2 to 5 megabits is fine to run a virtual desktop. Obviously, the more you have, the better. And also keep in mind that most of the traffic is going from the data center down to my local computer. The only thing going up from my local computer is mouse clicks and keyboard strokes. If you got enough bandwidth to run Netflix, that you'd have no problem at all operating a VDI. I'm going to open up a Revit file here. Now I realize that this file is a small one, but we don't have a lot of time here, so I don't want to wait and make you sit through opening a very large Revit file. But just keep in mind that this virtual desktop is on a 10 gig backbone. Most networks nowadays are still 1 gig, so it is operating at 10 times that speed. This makes things like opening files and saving files a little bit quicker. If I lose connectivity to my virtual desktop, also keep in mind that this virtual desktop keeps running even though I've lost my connection to it. So now let's pretend that I go up here and that I actually lost connection to this virtual desktop. So I'm working in an airport or something and my Wi-Fi bugs out and I'm disconnected from that desktop. Or let's say I started working in the office and then I came home and I wanted to continue to work. So I have to log in again, put in my credentials again, launch again. Now it came back up in the window because it was set like that before. And you'll notice I'm at the same screen I was before. I'm going to go to full screen mode so that we see everything. And now I'm just going to do a couple of quick little things in Revit. I'm not very good at Revit. You guys are all probably much better at it than I am. Keep in mind that that view horizon client is encrypting all of the traffic that goes back and forth and also compressing all the video signals. So it's almost like having a VPN connection set up to the virtual desktop. You don't have to worry when you're in a public location that anyone can do a man-in-the-middle exploit and get to any of your data stream. So right now I'm going to go ahead and add a wall. So I'm going to zoom in here. You'll see that the zooming is fluid. I'm going to go ahead and connect that. You'll see that it works, acts, feels, looks just like a regular desktop, even though it's a computer that is running a piece of software that's emulating a desktop computer in a data center across the country. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to a 3D view and I'm going to zoom in. You see that the zooming and panning is very fluid. No staggering, refreshing, or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and I can pan. You can see the panning is working normally. Feels normal to me too. The next thing I'm going to do is zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to do an orbit. So you can see as I orbit around this model. And I can zoom in and out. So basically, that's really all I wanted to show you on the virtual desktop. Like I said before, if you wanted to, you could start working in the office. You could disconnect then from your virtual desktop, go home, and continue work there and take up right where you left off. All your files would be open and secured and saved the same state you left them when you disconnected. I hope that gives you an idea of how the virtual desktops work. I realize that it's not too sexy. It's just the Windows computer that you connect to remotely, but I wanted to show you how it performed. And I think you can see by this demonstration that it looks, acts, and feels just like a computer that's sitting underneath your desk. Thanks for your time. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about a case study of how one of our Advance2000 clients is actually using this technology. Well, now that you've seen the demo and how it works, Adam's really going to talk a little bit about how one of our clients is utilizing the technology.
So one of our customers, it's a firm with, I believe, about 9 offices around the country. And they came to us quite a few years ago when they were going in from one area where they had to improve all of their, upgrade all of their servers, all their hardware, all their PCs, laptops, and everything like that. They were looking at a very large capital investment in that type of equipment to do so, or going a cloud route. And what they did is a great deal of work. They demoed it, like we talked about earlier in this webinar, about all the different virtual desktops that they could use to make sure that they worked right. They tried other solutions. Ultimately, decided on Advance2000. And they did so with just a project. And really, that's how a lot of our customers will start with us. They come into it with a crawl, walk, run type of approach, where they'll come and start off with a specific project. They absolutely also took this project and informed the people up front that are going to be part of this project that we're going to be doing it in our cloud as an evaluation towards moving forward on whether or not this was going to be something that got implemented company-wide. At the outcome of that project, the turnaround time on it was far quicker than they thought they were going to be. All the efficiencies were gained that they had hoped to, and more. And they ended up going all into it. That firm today, a company called CGL Companies, they've got their primary headquarters is in Sacramento, California, with offices in Lexington, Kentucky, New York City, South Carolina, and a few other places, Miami. This is where they've done their entire IT is now in the cloud, right? So all of their servers, all their firewall, all of their virtual desktops, their printing, their IT resources, absolutely every piece of it is now sitting in the Advance2000 Cloud. To the degree, because we are the type of firm that we are, that we're not just a cloud company, but we're also a full service IT company, we've also installed the data networks at each one of their offices. We provide them with support of their laptops. So when they buy new laptops, they have them sent to us. We get them set up for them. We then send them out to the end users. They open them up. They don't have to think about it. They go right onto the Advance2000 Cloud, and there they are up and working. So what this has done for this firm is drastically centralized everything. There's no guesswork on who you call if you have a problem. All the data is in the same section. Everything is backed up. It is a very unified, very common way of working. And the best part about it is the collaboration that they've been able to gain on it. Everything is in real time. And we're going to see in the case study that this is exactly what we try to achieve for each one of our firms, to give them that, again, no constraints on technology and be able to do anything that they want to be able to do without thinking about that technology. It fosters the creative abilities of our firms that work with.
Adam, are they working from home now? Are they?
Every single one of them has the ability to be able to work from home or from one of their offices. And what they've also been able to do is downsize some of the offices that they had from what they had before, because they're able to be.
Did they actually get rid of real estate?
They changed real estate. They went
Okay.
from some bigger offices to some smaller offices.
Oh, well, that's savings.
Smaller offices were now purpose built for just to be better, more efficient offices. Their latest one, they just opened up in Lexington, Kentucky. It's a brand new office, and we work with them to design the technology in that particular office, as well as host their virtual infrastructure.
Okay, so they were really unaffected by the COVID. They were.
Not at all. Not even one bit. We actually have a video on our website with a principal with CGL, Robert Glass. No relation, by the way, JT, to myself. And he talks about exactly that when it came down to a stay in place order and all these other types of things that went on, it didn't affect them at all. They went home and went to work.
Great. So what would you say was the one thing that kind of pushed them to consider this? Was it the end of life for all of their equipment? Was that really
it was the end of life part of it, but I think it was the performance, really.
Performance too?
It's not a big firm, just under 100 people or so, but they have very, very unique computer resource abilities. And their IT department was always trying to keep up with those BIM folks, right?
Yeah.
You've got your general users who it's easy all day, throw them into Office 365 and they're done. That's not the case when it comes to design industry folks.
Right.
Have very, very specific needs. And we were able to cater to those needs that their IT department before was not able to do so. It just so happens when COVID came along, it worked out for them. But I think the performance, being able to give a virtual desktop to an architect, to a BIM professional, and have no compromise at all, and for them to be able to use any application that they want to be able to employ.
Great. Now, actually, we're gonna move over to a testimonial, video testimonial. One of our customers, they're actually a 105 user structural firm located in the Midwest here. They've got 3 offices, and they're gonna share with us about really what they did when the pandemic hit and the lockdowns occurred, and how their firm adopted to the whole situation of working from home.
One of the most frequent comments that I got was how they were so darn glad that we've gone to the cloud and to A2K when we did. If our resources for going into this was to allow our offices to work better together, work more seamlessly together. That was a goal. Another goal is to allow our people to work from wherever they are, because as we all know that people increasingly want that flexibility to work from wherever they are. Sometimes they're at home or they're on the road or wherever they are, and to be able to work seamlessly together. Those were our goals going into this. And how fortunate do we feel in times like this, that something that wasn't even our goal, that we found ourselves in the position that we would have hoped, the ability to work in really challenging, difficult times like this and work well together.
I think it's actually been incredibly easy for us. I honestly don't know what we would have done if we were not on Advance2000. You know, I think one of my favorite quotes is we had our annual reviews last fall, and there was someone that put a comment in there that whoever thought of going to Advance2000 deserves a raise. And so that was good praise from our staff. And, you know, I think people kind of understood why we did it, but after COVID-19 hit, everyone has kind of just been amazed at the ease with which literally overnight people were able to transition to working from home without missing a beat. It's amazing how many architectural clients and others that we talk with who are saying that they're struggling working with Revit models. You know, I had some architects who said, you know, we have to plan on individuals going into the office because when they need to do some certain Revit modeling, because they're not able to just do what they need to from home. And we haven't experienced any of that. I mean, anyone can really do anything that they need to from a technology standpoint from home. And that's been pretty remarkable.
That was a very interesting take on how one firm reacted to this whole pandemic and working from home. It's amazing how firms have really transitioned to working in a completely different way without really losing any productivity. It's amazing to me that the adaptability of a lot of firms who thought that maybe work from home or remote working wasn't a real viable way of operating, and now have come really all the way 300, well, I'd say 180 degrees, and now are embracing that as a way of working.
You can also appreciate the intrepidation that a lot of firms have going into such a thing. And that's really what I think our shining element is here, is we understand both. We are a company that came from the premise-based world, came from that brick and mortar and having all your IT resources in that, to this virtual world. And what we want to do is build a strategy with you, to sit down with you, to figure out how it's going to best work with your company, so that when you do make that migration, that it's done so with as little impact to your user community as possible, other than good impact, that they're going to see the benefits of it and the transition is as seamless as possible.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest, I think, if you had to ask me, one of the really, really key benefits with Advance2000 is being able to walk you through that and then be able to have a total turnkey solution at the other end that you just don't have to think of.
And work with a company that understands your industry and can speak your language.
Right.
Yep. Thanks everyone for taking time to join us today. If you'd like more information about Advance2000, or you've got questions about remote work, remote technology, or how your firm can really benefit from it, please contact us today.
All right. Take care. Have a great day, you.